There's so much confusion around whole foods and what they are, so I wanted to clear that up today. When I say I recommend eating mostly whole foods, I'm not saying that I need to eat everything straight from the ground and never eat anything that comes out of a package. A whole food is basically a food that is as close to its original form with little to no processing. Things like fruits, vegetables, beans, lentils, whole grains, nuts, seeds, and even things like meat, things that come from animals and plants and come from the earth. But where people start to get confused is when I say processing, but processing doesn't automatically make something unhealthy. Take tofu, for example. Soybeans have to be processed in order to turn them into tofu. Yogurt is also processed. It needs to be fermented in order to turn it into Greek yogurt, which is a very healthy food. But that doesn't make either of those foods ultra processed. Yes, they are processed, but not UPFs. Ultra processed foods, or UPFs, generally go much further than that. They're typically made using industrial processing and ingredients that you wouldn't really find in a kitchen at your own house. You can't recreate these foods at home with certain types of emulsifiers, flavorings, colors, sweeteners, and other additives. And this is why I don't necessarily believe in demonizing every packaged food or processed food because there's a level. Take the Nova scale, for example. I'll put it here. It's an example that shows how different processed foods, vary depending on how processed that they are. I would say eating mostly whole foods or minimally processed foods matter because these foods tend to give us more things that our body actually needs. Fiber, vitamins, minerals, antioxidants, protein, healthy fats, which help us build a diet and more nourishing and satisfying. And it does not need to be perfect. I like to think of it as like an 80-20 or 90-10 type of thing. I eat mostly whole foods while leaving some foods 10 to 20% for fun foods that you enjoy. These can be ultra processed foods, things like pizza, cake, ice cream, chocolate, fries, whatever it may be. That leaves a little bit of room in a healthy diet. And a healthy diet should be balanced, not one or the other, but a balance of two things. It is about what you do most of the time, not what you do once in a while. And of course, what the whole foods on your plate actually look like matters too. How you cook them and the portion sizes, how to build a healthy plate, that also matters. I just really wanted to touch on this because I felt like there's so much information about whole foods and what it truly means and why it's important. And I wanted to clear things up. So, what are your guys' thoughts on whole foods? Did you know any of this information? Are you integrating any of this information in your diet? And how is it helping you?